provider. Okay.
Adi doon na ako.
Okay, you can go first.
No! But, close your eyes. 1, 2, 3, go. Bato, bato, pick. Okay, you win. No, you win, you win! No, you win, you win, you win. Okay.
No.
Okay! Sige na, choose.
Cheers daw.
What's the first situation?
Someone you love but causes a lot of problems. Someone you don't love but brings you a lot of fortune.
Okay.
I feel like it's better to be with someone you don't love but brings you a lot of... I think it's better to be with someone you don't love that brings you a lot of fortune because it can stretch your lifespan. And, you know, throughout human history and evolution, the main goal and purpose in life was to survive and, you know, spread our genes and adapt and evolve and, you know, to be safe. And I think if you're with someone that brings you a lot of fortune that increases your likelihood of survivability, you know, can give you a lot of free health care, can provide you a lot of food on the table. They provide you good fortune such as money, finances, just the core important things that you don't have to worry about with fortune instead of someone who brings you a lot of problems, like can make you starve. I mean, it's much better from an evolutionary standpoint to be with someone who brings you a lot of good fortune. And not only fortune, I mean, if you're talking about general fortune, I mean, think about the evolution of your kids. If that person has good genetics, then think about the genetics of your kids. Your kids will also have good endurance, a better ability to survive.
1 minute is over.
Okay.
We only have 1 minute. I would rather choose a person that I love the most, even though he caused problems in me. Because loving, it's not about being happy or being happy with him. Loving is also have multiple factors. You can fix his personality. You can fix his life. You can love him who he was and who he is and who will be, because that is love. Love is not about being happy with him, but also being a friend and someone that can love him even though he committed mistakes for his past. And I know love is all about acceptance, and so that you will accept him even though he caused problems. And I know love will change a person, maybe for the worse, but maybe for the betterment.
If it's someone you love or someone emotions can't take. Okay. And I think you'd be much happier loving the kids that you have with that person you don't love, because everyone loves their kids eventually. So you will have something to eventually love and cherish and care for. And when you say bring a lot of problems, I believe that people can change, but there are people who bring a lot of problems and are not willing to learn.
I believe that person can change for the betterment of himself, maybe because he loves to change, or maybe there is someone that loves to change and he wants to help that person also by improving himself. Loving is all about fixing again and also accepting his mistakes. And in order for you to improve, or in order for you to change that person, you should give the love that he deserves. And I guess, as cliche as it sounds, there's always room for improvement, and that person that caused you problem will probably change for the better person because he gained the love that he deserves from that person.
So, Ms. Trinidad, what would you gain from from being with the person that you love but causes a lot of problems? What would you gain?
What will I gain? Patience, to understand his life.
Okay. Stephanie, who do you think won that debate?
I did not listen. That's up to Paolo.
Okay.
He was the one who heard most of it.
But
Parehas maganda eh. Pipiliin ko to.
We just have different perspectives, that's it.
but you can still fight for your stand.
What about another one?
No?
Sorry,
what food is
I'm
better?
the most good.
Rice or tomatoes? Rice or tomatoes? Which one's better?
But what can you say about my stand? About my reasons for my stand.
Your perspective was all about love. Your perspective explains a lot about love and explains a lot about fixing the other person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because personally, it's nothing wrong to marry a person who's made in life, but I will not marry you for me just to play small and you can abuse my or you can disrespect me because of your fortune. That's I
that
don't
wasn't
know.
that wasn't the that wasn't in the that wasn't in the that wasn't in either of the stances. It was just someone you don't love and brings you a lot of fortune, fortune in general, not someone who brings you a lot of love, who you don't love and brings you a lot of fortune and abuse.
Yeah.
Abuse was never in any of the stances that we
No,
were given.
no.
That's right.
Like it's not
No,
just
it's not
physically
coming.
abuse, but it's emotional abuse. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
there
don't
was-
love, if I mean, what's the purpose of your money? I'm the type of person. I am not materialistic. As long as I love you and I have you, that's enough.
Okay.
Ba't kinilig?
For me, same thing. I would say, enough money to survive will make me happy.
It's not being fair to love the person because of his fortune. It's not love.
It's not love.
Okay.
What about the better food? What's better, tomatoes or rice?
Tomatoes or rice?
Yeah. Okay. What stance will you take?
Rice.
I'll take tomatoes.
Okay. Fight first. Okay, I'll fight for my stand.
Okay.
Rice.
You go first.
Okay. The basis will be our situation here. We weigh out rice first before tomatoes. Hey!
Okay, my stance now.
Ano daw? Okay, hindi.
Well, in the modern world, people want an ideal. People want an
Pwede mo
ideal
insert
body
yung
weight, and
pagkapiloso
people
ko.
want an ideal surface area to volume ratio, which if they have more surface area, they are able to endure more. So I think tomatoes are the perfect food for shredding and the perfect food for, making you fit for survival later on because they give you the correct body type that is desirable to other people. Also, tomatoes are very healthy and
Okay. Among the three meals that we have, breakfast is the most important. And I don't think that tomatoes are part of the go foods, but I think the rice produces carbohydrates that provides us energy, like carbohydrates, and that will help us for us to have a long day and also a productive day.
What is the debate about this time? Tomatoes and rice.
tomatoes or rice. Which one's?
I'm really...
Okay.
Okay, how about this?
Okay.
Long hair on girls or short hair on girls?
Okay, go.
I really want to hear this one. But before you start,
Ah, wag
please,
ganun.
let me check the...
Long hair or short girl?
Ah, wag, te, kasi parang,
Ano siya?
I've already chosen.
napaka-personal siya. I mean, physical kasi siya. Kumbaga, ako,
I've already
pwede
chosen
ako
my
long and
stance.
short. Gusto ko situation talaga.
Situation
Not
talaga.
physical
Situation
appearance.
daw.
Not physical appearance.
Is it better to drop the bomb or drop the fire hose?
Here, okay. Okay, about emotions.
Emotion. Oh, okay.
Okay, example. Would you rather be a person who holds their emotions in and doesn't let anyone know and let it out all in one day? Or would you want to be the person who everyone knows that you're very emotional and you let out all your emotions every day? And then please give us benefits and pros and cons for each situation on whichever one you win.
Okay, pros and cons.
3, 2, 1, go.
Bato, topic. Bato, topic. Okay, you choose.
My stance is it's better to hold in your emotions and let them all out in one day. I feel as though it's better because you can't open up to everybody. all at once. And if you open up every day, that assumes, I guess that also assumes that you open up to a lot of people. And I feel like if you open it up in one bucket, you have, you have one basket for your eggs, instead of putting your little eggs in many baskets, if you know what I mean. So you gather all the eggs in one basket. You make sure you have one trustworthy person to really spread your emotions to if you're going to do that. And it's really important that you let it out in one source, I guess, one day and one time, because there aren't that many people in the world you can trust. If you let it out every single day, then that also assumes that you probably let it out to a lot more people, naturally, which, a lot of people will take advantage of you for that, and that does not increase your chances of survivability, but decreases your chances of social survivability, and can actually kill you, can actually be very dangerous. But it is not, I will give my own cons to it.
Okay,
It is not completely healthy to hold in your emotions all at once for too long, I will admit, because one way or another it would cause a burnout. But for the benefit of the other group, I feel like not infecting people with negativity every day, assuming that these emotions are negative, is not a good thing.
Okay. Opening your emotions every single day is an evidence that you are a human and you have the capabilities or the rights to be as human. As a human being, we can be vulnerable sometimes, and not because we are showing our emotions doesn't mean that we are weak. It's just opening your emotions every single day is also opening yourself to improve as a person. And again, it doesn't mean that you're weak. And the cons of that, someone will take advantage of it because this is the wrong mindset of someone. Seeing someone that is crying, it doesn't mean that they are weak or they're emotionally weak. It's just that is their way. Like you can tear up because of crying. I mean, you can tear up because of the happiness. You can cry because of joy. So opening your emotions again is an evidence that you are open for another day to improve yourself. That's it.
Express your feelings.
As a human. And the cons of it, yeah. Maybe some people will take advantage of it because they think that...
I never said letting out your emotions is a sign of weakness.
Yep. But I'm going beyond of my stand because this is a debate, so you should be initiative enough.
But then you're trying to paint my debate as if I'm saying,
Okay, Rob already lost the debate.
why?
Nope.
Because kasi you in debates you don't say like
Yeah.
you don't say like, oh, you're making me look like this because of debate, or you're
Oh, my bad.
you
Okay,
have to stick
that
to
doesn't
the
count. I
thing.
never knew that.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
You know
I never
what?
knew that.
Debate,
Okay, I like
Rob,
that.
debating is about expanding your ideas, not just to point out your opponent's idea.
Yeah, you have to just keep adding to your own and defend yours, and not mention that they just
Okay.
completely lashed out on your idea. Because then you
Debating is not just informative, it's also persuasive, Rob. You need to
Okay.
persuade.
persuasive. Your information could suck, but you persuaded the whole jury.
Yeah.
But you have to be good at persuading them.
Okay. Well, you just pointed out that people can take advantage of you if you release your emotions every day. So, on one hand, you just did admit that it is a sign of weakness because people can take advantage of that moment. I feel like you need to let your weaknesses out or your vulnerabilities out toward the right people who can fix them. If you release it all out to a few select people, assuming you do it in one day.
Guys, I really want to hear
Okay.
this debate.
Okay, what's wrong with us? Because what's wrong with people? They are always minding the other people, not minding their own selves. If those people taking advantage of you, and that's not your loss, it's their loss. Being a person who took advantage of that kind of situation, like being vulnerable, it's not your loss. We always think about people, but we never think about ourselves. Okay, we should stop thinking about people's beliefs or people's opinions towards us because we know more about ourselves and we know how can we improve ourselves.
I believe that, you know, the saying, we shouldn't care what people think, to an extent, is wrong when it comes to business and warfare because what our opponent thinks of us is actually key. We should never make our opponent think what they want to think. We should make our opponent think what we want to think. So by letting it out on one day to a few select people, we hide our weaknesses and we do not let our opponents know our vulnerabilities that they can attack. It's not about self-improvement in this case. It's about hiding your vulnerabilities so that your opponent doesn't destroy you.
You know, what's exploding in one day is kind of a bit dangerous because it's not just how you cry or you'll just cry over one day. You can go beyond crying because of that big explosion compared to being open every day. You can have a friend, and that's what friends are for. You can share it to your friend. You can ask for a friend's advice that you are not okay with this day and that for tomorrow you will be better, and for the next day you will be the best person or the best version of yourself because of that.
Okay. So
My brain
What-
is getting blood.
So what if that friend turns out to deceive you and becomes an enemy? Friends know how to hurt you more than enemies know how to hurt you.
But it doesn't mean that you can't trust even a single friend. Even in this world full of enemies and this world full of dishonest person, but it doesn't mean that this world can't find a friend like me, like everyone here. Oh no! It said we can be trustworthy, and personally, I can be that friend who's trustworthy. I will not mind if you will be crying in front of me because
And I never said you can't be trustworthy with someone. I said that you can let all your emotions out in one day to one person.
But you
because
just
they're
said that
trustworthy. If you let it out every single day, you can't really trust anyone because your emotions
Shut-
become normal.
you just said trust. You just said trust, and that is an evidence that you aren't trust those people who's beside on you when you're who's on your side when you're vulnerable of being emotional, right?
How is that evidence that I'm not trustworthy of others?
I mean, not you. You can't trust the person. You just said that you can't trust everyone. Like
Not
they will take
everyone.
advantage. Okay, but it doesn't mean that you will not trust anyone.
Yeah, and I never said you don't have to trust
Because-
anyone. I just said you have to trust a few good people.
In order to help yourself, in order to help yourself, you should also help yourself to, I mean, persuade yourself that not everyone is not worthy of your trust.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And you just agreed with my idea that not everyone's worthy of my trust and it's only better. It's really
You
exploding
were the
emotions
one who
out
said,
on-
of course, so you were the one who agreed.
No?
You just said, of course. And of course, again, it's an evidence that you agreed my side.
No, you just agreed to my side.
You said, of course. And I never said, of course, of your
Your
side.
points actually agree with a lot of what I've said.
What?
Your points are some of your points actually blend into what I say.
Nope. Like, give me an evidence.
I said you can only trust a few good people when you let your emotions out in one day, assuming that's the case. Then you say you can't trust everyone, but that doesn't mean you can't trust anyone. And I said, of course you can't trust anyone because you can only trust a few good people. So that, what you're saying actually blends into what I'm saying.
No? But I never agreed.
Not me.
It's just your opinion that I've agreed. But personally, I've never agreed in your opinion. I fight for my stand, and I will fight for my stand. And because I'll fight for my stand,
So
I'll
who
never
won that
agree.
debate?
No one's.
No one.